In this session, I'm going to explore the expectations surrounding the implementation of blended learning and what that might mean for delivery. I'll also discuss issues surrounding student diversity and technology, and introduce my own perspective on the digital natives debate. I'll then conclude this particular section by raising some more discussion points to share amongst colleagues. I think we'll probably all agree that students joining our programmes now do so with increasing expectations of robust use of learning technology and an innovative and inclusive e-learning infrastructure. As well as technological advances, this is very much in line with the expansion in the use of non-mainstream knowledge and discourses as part of internationalisation and massification of education in recent years. This has happened in a context of increasing innovation and uptake of collaborative Web 2.0 technologies, as well as mobile solutions that are used to facilitate creative learning networks. However, it's important to remember that blended learning is not a solution in its own right. It's not to replace face-to-face teaching, but to augment it. It offers possibility for flexibility, choice and autonomy, but has to be implemented in a considered, planned and effective manner. Again, as I think we would all agree, it's the pedagogy that drives blended learning and the application of technology, rather than any quality intrinsic to that particular media or technology. So, for example, principles such as constructive alignment are as possible and as necessary in blended learning solutions as they are in any other face-to-face environment. And I think from this point of view, it's very important that learning technologies and the use of any blended learning solutions should be considered and integrated as opposed to bolt-on and additional. Very often, e-learning and learning technology solutions are considered as ancillary and other. I would argue that that could encourage a pathologised and tokenistic view, when really blended learning has to be embedded, integrated and sustainable. One of the great strengths of learning technologies is that it offers scope for flexible and autonomous participation on the part of students. Technology offers students a variety of different possibilities to construct different identities within a particular digital space, and also to privilege chosen aspects of themselves. As I discussed in some of the examples in Presentation 1 relating to providing scaffolding for the student experience, this is an essential aspect of providing students with access to clear expectations with their engagement with technology in the academic domain. As I've also previously mentioned, many students might be confident users of technology, but we can't assume that this is universal. Infrastructurally even, for example, at our induction sessions at the beginning of the academic year 2012-13, only 67% of students had access to or used a smartphone or mobile device. Therefore, any mobile interface that we implement must be an alternative as opposed to a predominant mode of delivery, and multiple formats are essential. Indeed, student diversity in terms of access to technology creates a very interesting perspective. For example, some international students at GSA have spoken at length about their prior experiences of both physical and attitudinal barriers to technology. So, for example, in their home communities, limited connectivity and access to web resources, or simply technology not being embraced as part of their community or culture. At the other end of the spectrum, other students noted being part of a very vibrant online community in a prior place of learning, and spoke about immersive experiences of learning in a virtual as well as a real world. This relates back to Bourdieu's notion of habitus, and taking note of different cultural perspectives which might impact on students' technological preferences, levels of confidence, and their bespoke use in creative processes. For example, one fine art photography student spoke about how she used digitisation as a protection mechanism. She said that if she worked in print, she always had the fear of spoiling what she was working on, so she very consciously used the digital media to protect the work until completion. In terms of this differential access to technology and cultural understanding of technology, we can't necessarily assume that all students therefore are digital natives. The digital natives debate posits that all of those people born after 1980 have an immersive and innate understanding of using technology. Conversely, people born before 1980, known as immigrants, have to undergo some sort of adaptation in order to become comfortable with using technology. Such problematic models contribute to the overestimation of students' digital confidence. However, reductionist concepts such as Generation Y and the digital natives debate are coming under increasing scrutiny and criticism, in growing recognition that students may require help in transferring their principles of technological use from the personal domain to the academic. An alternative model of residents and visitors has also been suggested in contesting the validity of the natives and immigrants debate. Although based on a more transient and flexible model, it still offers a binary. I would argue that all staff and students use technology to varying degrees. In our shared quest to find different resources for different purposes, I would argue, could we not just all be digital navigators? So at this stage, I would like to get your perspective on the digital natives debate. What's your interpretation? Do you recognise any aspects of it as valid, or would you consider aspects problematic? From this point of view, how would you say your students engage with learning technologies? Do you recognise the difficulty in the transference from the personal to the academic domain, or are your students completely confident users? And according to your experience, in what ways would you say technology might support inclusion, diversity, and flexibility of participation for students? In the next presentation, I'll consider the complementary tutor's perspective, looking at embedding learning technologies within creative education.